People are socialized. That's a nice way of saying brainwash networking. The nice way of saying socialized. To being polite by whose standards? The Navy SEALs? Or Calamity Jane and James Chuck? Who's deciding what's polite? You know, who is the person that's the authority figure? Helen of Troy? Or Joan of Arc? Or the Navy, or the infantry guys? Or the, everybody's got their own idea of what it seems to me as I look out through these eyes, try to understand. The cobra or the mongoose, they say. Yeah, the hawk or the field mouse. Who's polite? Who's calling? I don't have authority figures. There's something in authority because I'm able to talk and breathe, light the cigarette, and the tide's going in. That authority, but the rest of it's just arbitrary, man. I'm a high school dropout, but arbitrary. That's the coach. Well, if you go to the person and say, will you be my coach? Teach me to play tennis or golf. That's one thing that they say. Get in line. Yes, Johnny Cash is singing about he walks that line. That Johnny's just using a metaphor. But they'll take Jesus' teachings, Johnny Cash's song, Buddha's teachings, and make and reify it, reification, to mean. We'll tell you what it means. This is my opinion. I am not trying to be political. I'm not, but it is. Because it is political. The personal, everything is the polis. I looked back in the Greeks in the library. It's everything. Your landlord, your landlady, your lover, your pets. When you have to interact with other energies, that becomes what they call politics. Pet me, or I'll bug you and you can't read your book. Your dog's worse than your cat, isn't it, in your experience? You're needy. I don't have a pet. I like dogs. I don't have an old lady, you know. I'm politically incorrect. I don't have a lover. I'm somebody's old man, or spouse. Because of that shit. It's not. I like sex. I haven't had it in a long time, but I don't want to play the game, Now and everybody plays it. You guys don't, gals, and that's just my strategy to not. I burned out. It's not really a strategy where I'm strategizing, but no, it ain't worth it. I got to have a landlord or a landlady to rent a room or live out under Visqueen. Make a little tent and they'll arrest me around here, maybe not out in Oregon or Northern California. In LA, they won't let you be homeless or a bag lady anymore. They'll pick you up and say you're crazy. Here, they'll put you in Meadowood or the VA, in my case, Veterans Hospital. Oh, you're crazy, but I didn't steal anything. I didn't get loud. I'm dumpster diving because I'm hungry. Oh, you're nuts. I'm crazy, I'm nuts. How I gotta tell a joke. I use my own ethnic group, the Irish guys down on the beach. He says, oh my God, Brooke Shields just went by in her bikini. And, well, she's not flashing you, man. Yes, she is. Well, next time she comes by, if you think she's flashing her, show her your nuts. All right, she came by again in her bikini. That's a dumb joke, maybe.
No, it's good.
But people are, this is crazy to me. It ain't crazy wisdom. That's good shit stuff. But people are so fussy and fastidious now. If it's politically incorrect, they'll call 911 and say you terroristic threatened them. Say, you bitch. Let's say you met one of these tourists. And she says, well, why are you smoking, Deanne? Or Scotty, or whoever. Because I like to smoke. This is public space. I'm not smoking in Starbucks, bitch. They'll call the cops and say you terroristic threat. Now I am on the lunatic fringe here, but I see it. It's right there. You better watch what you say to these guys and gals. I'm calling Ken and Barbie in a metaphor. Shirley Temple would be better. That was another era. Shirley Temple's the drink that President Nixon made for his granddaughters. It's a cherry and a ginger ale. And Shirley Temple as an actress, as a little girl, had, but Ken and Barbie are pissed because their mortgage payment went up. They're worried about getting laid off and their unemployment's going to get laid. And then they're going to have to live like me and Donald. St. Francis. They're going to have to dumpster dive or starve. I mean, come on, man. I'm not trying to be a smart ass. It sucks, too. I don't like to dumpster dive, but if I have to, it's either that or renunciate Scotty. Sit down and starve myself to death. Well, they'd come and take me away before I could. I'm not going to dumpster dive. In India, you used to be. I don't know. Yeah, you could. It's okay to commit seppuku, suicide by starving yourself to death. That's socially acceptable of the proprieties of most of the Hindu and spiritual.
What about self-immolation?
That was that was the widows back in the Middle Ages would jump on the pyre when they're burning their husband. They cremated. They didn't have enough room to bury. But you see how it changes the proprieties. And so I'm not implying anybody should commit suicide or harikiri in Japan, but it's considered. Well, I've been so down, not right now. I'm average today, where I wanted to not wake up in the morning because I'm depressed. Oh, poor me. Maybe I'm doing that too. It's sterile. Our society is becoming the sterility. I'm not saying they're immoral or they have character defects and shortcomings like Alcoholics Anonymous is as bad as Roman Catholicism. I'm an Irish Catholic. I'm not an ex-Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. I can see the truth of that. I'm not into like blood sport. I don't think I'm lying here. But like you go in the Marine Corps when you're 17 or the Army, Air Force, Navy, and they put you in the Navy SEALs, you're not going to come back from that experience. If you survive it, or Auschwitz and Dachau if you're a Jewish person or a gypsy, or they threw your old aunt in there in 14. She got out liberated by the Allies. She's going to have that experience of Auschwitz or Dachau. And they're going to think she has issues. And we'll go to our counselors and we'll therapeutically we'll use our therapies to cure you. And then you pretend that you don't have issues about Auschwitz, or they'll throw you in Meadowood. Oh, one flew over the cuckoo's nest because you're bothering us because you have this depression because you were in Auschwitz or Dachau. That's your cross to bear psychologically. The sadness of all the people they killed, not just we kill. And it could really hurt you that all these football players that hurt their back and their knee for life. And you see that and think it's just tragic, and it's sad that they do that. Yeah, they volunteer for the football game, the money and the fame, and on it goes. And I have culpability. I'm a sinner. That means I'm culpable. That means I don't want to act that way anymore. I'm evil. I'm part of the problem. We're all here, man. We're all part of the equation of Earth. Humans, mammals. I'm talking about people. Won't bring squirrels and horses into it. But, and you get to the point where I haven't gotten to the point, and I've met others that have gotten to the place where they just don't want to play the dumb game anymore. And if you say that, they might put you in the psych ward of the VA or Meadowood. That is my experience. And once you take Haldol, well, I want to do vodka, beer, heroin. Now, I haven't done it in 28 years. And it's hard to use AA anymore. Quite frankly, AA is becoming part of the problem, my problem. I'm not pathologizing Alcoholics Anonymous. It's becoming very much of a cult. Like Christianity has become a cult. Buddhism's Buddhism's kind of Ken and Barbie, boomer Buddhism and white bread yoga. In that sense, they're not wrong or more. I can't do it. I'm burned out. Well, Scotty, you just are lazy. Yeah, maybe I am. Leave me alone. I didn't ask you for. So let me not be a part of your football's a cult. Bread and circuses. NFL. I like baseball, but it's cultish. Rock and roll, I worship Jimi Hendrix. They worship the family in Christianity.
Laziness versus unambitious.
Yeah, maybe we can split hairs, and that's cool. But it's like they worship the family. Okay, I'm not throwing rocks at Mary Magdalene like James Dobson's got the focus on the family, his Christian ministry. They all go to Promise Keepers and cheerlead the family in that way, that wholesome Christian family. To me, that's idol worship. And I'm guilty of it. They worship the family, the wholesome Christian, and I worship Jimi Hendrix and blues and Eric Clapton's licks, and B.B. King and funky, country music. Yeah, I'm an idol worshiper. Well, if they get mad at me, it's because I find it, with a family. I don't want to be wholesome. I don't want to be mean either, but it's too much work to pretend I'm something I'm not. I'm not honest. I'm just being honest right now. Oh, if you wanted to hire me, here's my resume. I'll trim my beard. Yeah, I can be a phony, but I don't have to be, and that's easier. The easier, softer way is not having to be dishonest to survive. Even a little bit, not having to play the game. Hey, brother, I'm one of the boys, just so I won't starve, and I can have some camaraderie. I can't even do that anymore. Not because I'm moral, just because I'm burned out. I'm going to be 67 years old in 6 months. So I'm not trying to give myself a pass here, or a parole, but no, I'm burned out, and I'm that. I'm not like, I'm all, we're all the Buddha, we're all Christ. We're not Jesus. I'm not saying we're the source of life, what they call God or Allah. That's not its name, though. the people of the book, Christianity is a group of people of the book. And the Islam is a people of the book. The Jews are. The book, but they make it into an icon. You ever see those TV evangelists? They're waving it. They're not reading it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Thus I've heard.
Yeah, thus have I heard, you know. And there's nothing wrong with icons, but the book will only take you so far. Any book. A comic book could put you in touch with. Beavis and Butthead could have you realize something that I don't know. Then you move on from there. You go on with your life. You know, moment by moment is every beat of the heart. And the day keeps turning into night, and your day keeps turning into night here on earth. And you learn, and you don't learn, and you get lonely, and you get happy, and that's all part of the human condition. I'm not an existentialist, our existence. And then you qualify it with good, bad, you know, sacred, profane. And I hear I'll call them the real rabbis, the masters, people like Jesus, saying, look, man, turn it all over to the source of life. I don't call it Abba. I'm not on familiar terms to answer. Nothing wrong with answer, you know, the mother. You could call it source of life, but that's like a term of endearment. If you get along with your mother, or, you know, I don't know. You don't have to. Don't call it anything if you don't want. But I'm not like, there are control freaks and power junkies, and I don't want to be one of them. You will call it this. We're a democracy. We're a republic. That's an abstraction. How do I treat you? How do you treat me? You know, that's not abstract, man. But whatever, United States of America, it's not, hey, man, it's not too united sometimes. That's okay. And America, do we mean all the way from the tip of Canada down to the tip of Sarah Lake? Yeah. That's a whole continent, the Americas. They mean Northern America. And I am a citizen. And I don't want to be part of the problem, but quite frankly, when you say you're a sinner, we're all part of the problem sometimes, man. That's what it means when these born-again Christians say, well, are you? Yeah, we're all. You too. Well, I got you. Well, do you? You know, are you blaming it on Jesus now or the devil? Who's that? Me, if I act that way. I'm the beast. If I treat you badly, it's not some arcane. I don't speak for anybody else but myself. I don't speak for you or anybody that you show this video to. I don't, man. I just speak for myself. I'm not going to pass the buckaroo to Pontius Pilate's fault. It's Obama's fault. It's President Clinton's fault. It's Ally North's fault. It's Lucifer's fault. It's my mother didn't breastfeed me. My daddy left when I was 5 years old and caught that train. And I hear my train a-coming. That's the old blues song, man. Get out of this nuclear family, man. It's oppressive. The woman, my baby caught a freight train and rode. The woman ran away. Some women get thrown in jail and they take their kids away involuntarily. And they didn't even do anything abusive. They just were too much vodka or something, too much tequila, and smoking those left-handed cigarettes. Naughty, naughty. Now we're throwing you in the dungeon. Well, there's no dragons in there. We're not mean. And then they take your children, and then you got to lose that identity. But you're always a mother if you had kids. I don't have a womb. How can I have kids? You know what I mean? You identify with what you identify. There's no problem with identity. People make it an issue. That's okay, but I don't. What are you doing? I like guitars and drums, and I kind of like Trish and Deanne on certain days. They don't seem to get along. Yeah, they do. But you guys are stream enterers, man. I really think that's a judgment, not a moral judgment. I'm not going to say anybody I don't think's a stream enterer. TH is a stream enterer to me. Jimi Hendrix was. If all the hippies cut off all their hair, I don't care. I got my own world to live in. It's not the power of love. It's the power of love, not the love of power. That's what Jimi Hendrix said. He said, I got my own world to live in. He goes, he says, are you experienced? He's not talking about you. He says, well, I am. That's what Hendrix said. Hendrix was in the 101st Airborne, man. He was in the Screaming Eagles. On his 27th jump, he hurt his leg, and he got a medical discharge. But because it hurt his leg, he was mustered out on a physical thing. That's a historical fact. Jimi Hendrix, yeah, man. They can't handle our society, the Ken and Barbie thing. Not every Ken and Barbie. I'm using a metaphor here. They don't like the Bob Marley and the Wailers, or they didn't used to like Elvis back in the day. Now Elvis is tame to them. But the Grateful Dead, and freaky stuff like Kenny Bruce, Lenny Bruce, Kenny Bruce. Lenny Bruce, man, he was a Jewish comedian, man. And now he wouldn't be nothing. Back in the day, man, Lenny Bruce freaked people out because he used the F word, you know, and they just freak. They still do in AA meetings. They got mad at a guy the other day out at Dry Dock because he used the, well, I ain't going to say, he used that word, you know. And I don't need to use it on here because I heard she's putting it on the, I don't know about that, Deanne. That's cool. All this technology, man. I got paranoid. Y'all are hearing, she says, I put you on, what do you call it, Facebook? I did, I'll admit, my little boy in me, what? Now I see if everybody's on Facebook. You know, I heard Whitney Houston is 47 years old. I liked her. She's a great singer. She's an entertainer. She lived 20 more years than Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison. And Jimi Hendrix was 27 when he died. And Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones. Whitney was, it's sad, it's tragic, quite frankly, but it doesn't surprise me. If I had the money of a celebrity, I wouldn't have lived to be 27. I almost OD'd one time in Vietnam, man. Try some of this, white boy. You know, it's China white, man. Good shit. Half of that shit will stop your heart. Maybe. The shit was pure. God, here I'm going. I haven't done any heroin in a long time, but I got strung out. And, you know, pot. Candy's dandy, but liquor. I was addicted to tequila and vodka. They didn't have Oxycontin or Darlata was just coming. Anything to get me out of my negative emotions, my self-pity, my fear. The fact that I know I'm a Vietnam veteran, I'm standing out around Ken and Barbie's suburb. And I didn't want to feel that, so I drink some more vodka, see. Marijuana didn't work for me. It didn't take away the self-consciousness of being in the suburb. Hi, who are you? You're not one of those Vietnam veterans, are you? You know, I don't think I'm too. That was what I experienced when I came back. And I didn't go around places. And I lied. I'd say, oh, no, man, oh, whatever, you know, because I didn't want people to know my business, man, because they would pathologize.
You all
Not
know
everybody.
It. They all know it now.
Well, yeah, but they got Iraq and Afghanistan now. These guys young enough to be my son come, hey, man, you're alienated, dude. That's okay, not from me or you or Trish, but they are. What? You know, you're alienated from the upper middle class. Generally, I'm not pathologizing those people. The suburbs, everybody's, you know, they're well scrubbed and they're all putting on the wholesome image, and you can't anymore. You're too burned out. I'm only 25. And I go, yeah, dude, but you were in the Iraq and the United States Army or the infantry in the United States Marine Corps. And if you play the game, it'll come back to bite you in the ass because it's dishonest in my own values to pretend to be. Treat others like you want to be treated. And then stay away from the people that their proprieties are such. Oh, you didn't take your hat off when you walked in this. The Jews don't mind; they wear a beanie in the synagogue. I don't care where you wear your hat. But all this petty shit, for me, I only speak. It's petty. It's fastidious. I stay away from it if I can. Aren't I a cop out? I don't care, man. Yeah, maybe I am, but I'm not stepping up to the plate and throwing down the gauntlet over this middle class shit. This bourgeois proprieties of politically correct. And the bikers can do it and the rock and rollers can do it, but they don't seem to do it as much until maybe they're the dominant culture. But right now the dominant culture in our society generally is the middle class proprieties and their ways of living in the world. You know, and they want that wholesome image. Your resume, you see. Get some false teeth, Scotty. We'll hire you. I can't play the game, man. And they're not wrong. I'm not any better than them. Maybe I am worse. Only the universe knows. I don't want to be. But quite frankly, I just, it's too much, man. You know, I don't know what to say. I didn't mean to offend anybody. I really mean that. I hope I'm not being phony or lying, but I probably will. At least I'm getting better. I'm not worried if Deanne's going to put this, Katie Gurrick, or Tom Sawyer, Samantha Sawyer, Tom Sawyer's great niece. I don't know what she's going by, her acronym, it's cool. But it's like, I imagine a lot of you younger folks feel, isn't our technological society a machine, man? You know, it's just been bleached and politically corrected to the point where it's sterility. It's just drives. I'm not trying to pathologize it. It's not good or evil. It's just like, ah, it's like I can't stand it, man. It's so mathematical and I'm not blaming computers, man. In 1984, I'd been in AA a couple of years, and that's when .com came in. They created .com in 1984, and nobody had a cell phone, or maybe surgeons and police chiefs. And then between 1984 and now it's 2012, everybody's got a cell phone, and it's like everybody's in everybody's business. It's quite freaky. That's my problem. It freaks me out. It's not kinky. It's just freaky, man. And tough shit, Scotty. Suck it up, Marine. Hey, soldier, suck it up. It's hard, man. I can't. I just got to walk in the dazed by it. And then they blame it. Hey, you guys, will blame it on Iraq, and you gals that are soldiers. Well, it's because you were in Iraq. No, it's because our society's on a full tilt boogie, and it's like out of control with technological shit. It's running on automatic pilot. Shut up! We don't want to hear that. The machines are somewhat running us, man. What's your Social Security number? Well, how's your credit rating? Well, what's your, on and on it goes. If you tell them, I don't have, everybody's got a Social Security number. I'm not saying that's evil or wrong, but there ain't no big brother. The machines don't have a soul. The computers aren't really organic beings. But if our leaders are going to these machines and saying, oh, and then my ego, I want to be politically correct. Will you please accept me? Because I have this big ego that needs acknowledgement. Call me brother, please. Don't reject me. The more I'm into this neediness of having to justify or having to be acknowledged that I'm running around or trying to avoid it, watching videos nothing wrong with a video or a play, but I run from this shit. I used to run into vodka, tequila, and other substances because this shit, and I had to deal with it. And now I'm being somewhat honest, because I can be about, you can run, but you can't hide.